What's up, guys? It's Solo back with a video here on Solo Hoops. Now today we're going to be updating my 2024 NBA All-Star ballot. I dropped the video 3 to 4 weeks ago when the ballot first dropped. We made our initial votes, but now some things have changed. Some starters have gotten injured, and we're going to be doing one of the most controversial things you can do when you talk about NBA. We're going to be picking all-stars. In that last video, I only did the 10 starters. In this video, we're going to do all 24 all-star roster spots. Before we jump into it, make sure you're subbed up if you guys aren't. We're on the road to 2K subs. So yesterday we got the second NBA fan vote returns. If you guys have not seen this, they have the fan votes for the entire league, and the guy with the most votes is surprisingly Giannis. I guess because he's just such a likable guy compared to Embiid, which I would say Embiid should probably be above Giannis in votes, but maybe people just like Giannis more. And then even like LeBron's leading the West, you know, entirely, not just the front court, but maybe even you'd expect him to have the most votes, or someone like Curry. But there's nothing like too surprising out of these fan votes. It's just a lot of like those diehard fan bases, you know, those popular teams voting for their fans. Like you see Tatum's third, Jaylen Brown is fifth, Kristaps is sixth, and then for the guards you got Derek White in seventh, Drew Holiday at ninth. So like all of the Celtics are on this list. You got Klay Thompson in 10th place for the West guards. Austin Reeves was on the first fan returns when they first dropped this. What was it, like a week or two ago? So he's now off the list. Devin Booker is on. He wasn't on it on the first time. But yeah, I figured I'd show you guys this in case you wanted to see it, but now it's time to get into my votes. Okay, so when you vote, you could pick 3 forwards and bigs from the East and then 2 guards. Same with the West. You can't pick all the players, you know, the bench, the reserves guys, but today we'll be doing that. I have a whole tier list, so we'll break that down after we get done with the starters. Let's start with the East front court. There's not a lot that's changed since the last time I voted 3 weeks ago in that video. So we're gonna start off with Embiid, Giannis, and Tatum. Let's just get it out of the way. Like, we kind of know those are gonna be the 3 guys. Like, there's really no one else even close to beating out any of them. I mean, who could you say? Julius Randle? I don't know. I mean, he's not going to start. Pascal, Bam's been solid, but like he's not going to take a spot from like Tatum. And now we have the East guards. We get to make 2 picks here, and I will still be picking Tyrese Halliburton. I think he is the, you know, far and away top guard in the Eastern Conference this season. I know he's injured, so that is one thing that might change things. Maybe he's not going to be a starter, but he'll still get voted in. You know what I'm saying? Someone might replace him, but I will still be giving him my vote. We're not sure if he'll be able to play come the All-Star game. I'd imagine that he is, but he's just been having an insane year. 23.6 points per game, 12.5 assists per game, and he's pretty much single-handedly, you know, giving the Pacers a good season. So he's gonna be my first vote. Now my second one, I think I'm gonna keep it the same as I did in the other video, and I'm gonna go Trae Young, just because his offensive production is insane. He's giving you 28 points per game, 11 assists per game. Just the way he plays on offense just generates so many points. And I know some people are gonna say, bro, you can't pick Trae Young. You gotta pick, you know, Damian Lillard, because the Bucks are actually having a really good season and he's a big part of that. Or you're gonna say maybe Donovan Mitchell because he actually plays a little bit of defense. There's a lot of ways you can go. I don't hate it. Y'all can let me know which way you're going in the comment section, but for me, I'm gonna give Trae Young the starting nod. And of course, a lot of these guys will make the roster. They just won't be starting, at least for me. Now we have the Western Conference front court, and this is actually debatable. Like out East, the front court, you know who it is. It's Embiid, it's Giannis, it's Tatum. And then even for like the guards for the West, we kind of know who that is. We'll get into that in a second. But this is actually a debate. Now off the rip, we're gonna put Nikola Jokic in. He is a top 2, top 3 player in the NBA. It's not really debatable. He's almost averaging a triple-double, 9.2 assists per game, 11.8 rebounds per game, and he's still getting, you know, 26 points per game. So we don't even got to really discuss that, even though we just did. We're going to go Jokic, and with my second pick, we're going to go KD. I feel like we don't really have to explain this one either. He's having an insane season. He's so efficient, averaging 30 points per game, 6 assists, 6.5 boards. Really good season right there. So we're going to give him a spot. Now, this is where it gets crazy. In my last video that I did when I was voting, I gave it to Anthony Davis, and I read the comments. A lot of you guys said that I should have went LeBron. Some of you guys backed it, said AD. It was honestly kind of 50-50, but some people did, you know, want me to go LeBron. Now I'm gonna do something crazy right here. I'm gonna do something crazy, and I'm just gonna do it just to make my ballot a little bit different. Although realistically, LeBron is probably gonna start if I had to guess, because the fan vote factors in. It's either 25 or 50%. And LeBron is killing it in the fan vote. So these 3 will probably be the starters. but I'm not making a bout, you know, based on who I think will be the starters. I'm going to make a bout based on who I think should actually be the starters. And I'm going to give it to Kawhi Leonard. The Clippers are having an insane season. Right now, they're 4th in the West. I think they're going to go even higher than that. Maybe they'll even be the 1 seed come playoff time, maybe the 2, the 3. The Clippers are on an absolute tear. And it's not only because of Kawhi, like James Harden's going off, Paul George is going off, but Kawhi just makes such an impact defensively. He's shooting like 43, 44% from 3. He's just hella efficient. He's averaging 24, 3.5, and 6 boards, making an impact defensively and leading one of the best teams in the league. And I mean, you know, if the Lakers were a little bit better, I think they're like 500 right now, I would give it to AD. If they were like 26 and 19, so if they go on a little win streak, maybe I'll change this before the voting ends. But as of right now, I'm going to go a little different. I know a lot of people aren't going to do this or aren't even going to agree with it, but we'll go with Kawhi as the starter. Although, yeah, this is just not going to actually happen come the All-Star game. LeBron will probably be starting. I don't think this is really debatable. Let's just get out of the way. We have Luka and we have SGA as the guards in the West. You have some guys that are having really good seasons like De'Aaron Fox, Anthony Edwards having great seasons. Curry is just having an okay season for his standards, kind of, you know, below average. But there are some other guys having solid years. Kyrie's been solid when he plays. Anthony has been going crazy. Anthony Edwards too. You know, he's probably going to be he will be an all-star, but you just can't start him over a guy like SGA or Luka. Like, it sucks because he's having a great season, leading, you know, one of the best teams in the league. I think the top team in the West right now, but I just don't think he can start. Same with De'Aaron Fox. He's been having a crazy season as well. Okay, so now it's time to pick the rest of the all-stars. So how I'm going to do this and how this works, if you guys are unaware, is you basically pick 2 more guards for the bench. So for the West, you know, we have the starters here, but let's say that these are the bench. You're gonna have 2 more guards and then 3 more, you know, forwards and bigs. So you basically fill out the bench and then you have wild cards. So you pick 2 wild cards, position goes out the window. So if you want to have 4 guards on the bench, you can do that. You must have 2 guards. You must have 3 forwards and bigs. The other 2 for each conference is a wild card. You could pick whatever. Okay, so let's start with the East bench players. Now, when we talk about the guards out East, like I said, Halliburton, Trae Young, those are my starters. There's a lot of guards that are capable of starting over, say, Trae Young, but I think Halliburton kind of has that spot locked down if he's healthy. And I'm just going to put them all in the All-Star game. We have Donovan Mitchell, Tyrese Maxey, Jalen Brunson, and Damian Lillard. So like I said, we have 2 guards that can go on the bench. So I think I'm going to go with, and this could go either way. It doesn't really matter. They're going to get in. You know what I'm saying? They're all going to get in. So you can complain if you want. I don't really know which way to put it because it's such a close race. But I'm going to go with Lillard and Brunson on the bench, and then my wild card picks will be Donovan Mitchell and Tyrese. But again, it doesn't really matter. So now I have to find their faces in this massive list of NBA player faces. Okay, so now we have most of our East team kind of set. We just have to pick our 3 forwards / centers for the bench. So my first pick for the Eastern Conference forward / bigs for the bench is going to be Bam Adebayo. That will be my first bench guy. I think he's just been having a great season defensively. He's a good depoy caliber guy. If we sort it by rebounds, he is 6th out of the Eastern Conference with 10.4 rebounds. He scores like crazy. Again, has great defense. One of the leaders of this Miami Heat team. I'm going to give him the first spot. Now, my second spot is actually going to go to a guy that's all the way down here. I'm going to go Scotty Barnes with this spot. He's been having a great year, just always finding a way to contribute. If he's not scoring, he's getting, you know, 10 rebounds. If he's not doing that, then he's making an impact defensively. He's getting 2 blocks and a steal, or he's getting, you know what I'm saying? His stocks have been off the chart this season. He's even getting 5.7 assists per game. Scotty Barnes has been having a low-key, really good season. So I'm going to go Bam and Scotty, and now that makes it very interesting for this last spot. If we sort it by fantasy points, it actually makes it a lot easier. So we have Scotty and we have Bam. Obviously, Tatum is starting. Now, this is where it's tough because Julius Randle, I think stats-wise, and if you just want to go off numbers, he's the guy to put in. But if you want to go off narrative and you want to actually care about certain things like the Celtics, for example, a lot of people say the best team in the league should have, you know, 2 to 3 all-stars, whether that's Jaylen Brown or when we go to the guards and you want to put in Derek White. I just think it's tough to put Derek White over, you know, Donovan Mitchell, Tyrese Maxey, Damian Lillard, Brunson, Halliburton, Trae Young. Like, who are you taking out to put Derek White in? I know Derek White's been great in his role. He's been playing his role so good, but his role is not to be an all-star. You know what I'm saying? He's not like a leader like a lot of these all-stars are. And then you have a team that is one of the top teams in the East and has been very surprising, the Magic. So should they have an all-star? Paolo's kind of their leader. He's having a great year, but when you stack him up against Julius Randle, like, Randle's been having a better year. And then it's like, should the Knicks only have one all-star? Should they have two? Does that matter? We're giving them Brunson. Should they also get Randle, or do we give the Magic an all-star and go with Paolo? You could also put in Pascal, although I'm not going to be doing that. And then again, the Celtics thing, does Jaylen Brown get in, or maybe even Porzingis? So I don't know. Jimmy Butler's been banged up. I'm not going to put him in. He's missed too much time. He hasn't been great when he's been out there. Franz playing really good, but I don't think you can give it to him. Mikal Bridges kind of been having a mid-year for him. I expected more from him. Jalen Johnson been having a really good year. He also did miss some time, but he is a very underrated player right there. And I mean, down here, there's really no one worth, you know, all-star contention. And I'm going to give it to Julius Randle. I'm going to give the last spot to Julius Randle just because I think he's been playing the best. I know you can make the argument for Paolo. You can make the argument to have another Celtic in, which I know a lot of people will do. And will the Celtics have two all-stars? Probably, but who's going to get snubbed then? I don't know. Maybe it's Randle. Maybe Randle's not an all-star, but I'm going to go Bam, Scotty, and Julius to round out my Eastern Conference bench. So to recap my Eastern Conference picks, we have Trae Young and Halliburton starting at the guard spot. Then we have Giannis, Embiid, and Tatum. Off the bench, we have Brunson, Lillard, Bam, Scotty Barnes, and Randle. And our two wild card picks, which technically are also off the bench, but I just wanted to spread it out like this, is going to be Donovan Mitchell and Tyrese Halliburton. Now for my snubs, like I said, I think the Celtics realistically should probably have two all-stars. So you have Jaylen Brown and Derek White. Both of them have a strong case to be an all-star. Derek White's case is interesting. Like, if I had to pick one, you know what? Screw it. Give it to Derek White. But who are you taking out? Are you taking out Mitchell, Maxey? Are you taking out Halliburton or Trae Young? Are you taking out Brunson or Dame? It's just too tough to give him a spot. Like, it's very tough. If he's out west, maybe he gets in. I don't know what the guards are looking like. We're about to look at that. And then I also have Paolo and a guy that I think is really flying under the radar. Terry Rozier is having a great season. If we look at his stats, 24.3 points per game, 7 assists, 4 boards, absolutely killing it for kind of an injured, you know, Hornets team with LaMelo Ball. He's been going crazy in LaMelo's absence. Now we have the Western Conference bench, and we're going to start off with the guards. Once again, we have 2 bench guards that we need to pick, and then we have 2 wild cards. So if we really want to, we can go 4 guards, although we might have to save those picks. So off the rip, the 2 guards that I'm going to go with is De'Aaron Fox. Again, I think he's been having a great year. He's really efficient. Just kind of, I'm not going to say carrying this Kings team because you obviously got Sabonis and they have a lot of depth in this team, but De'Aaron Fox is going to get one of my votes. And then the other one is going to go to Anthony Edwards because Timberwolves are, you know, the top team in the West right now. And he's been having a great season. 26.3 points per game, 5 assists per game, 5.4 boards. And, you know, he gets a lot of steals. He makes an impact defensively. I don't know. I feel like I don't really have to explain it. You obviously have Curry down here. You have James Harden, who, like Kawhi, how I put Kawhi as a starter. Harden, you know, you look at his numbers, not crazy. 17.3 points per game, 8.4 assists per game, 4.8 rebounds per game. If you were to look at his last month numbers, I think he's averaging over 10 assists per game. He's averaging like 20 and 10. And the Clippers are like 14 and 2. They're like 15 and 2. I don't know what the record is, but they're on an absolute tear. He has a case. Devin Booker also. Kyrie missed some time, so I don't know if he gets in, but he has a case. I don't know. The Grizzlies probably aren't going to get an all-star with Bane or Ja. But then if we scroll down, Anthony's been going off, but he probably doesn't get in. I don't know. I don't know if anyone else is getting in. If we sort of by assists, maybe we'll see somebody. Yeah, no. I mean, I feel like we kind of touched on all the guys that really have a chance. Okay, now I just realized how stacked this really is because when we look at the front court for the West, we get 3 picks. Obviously, we already have Jokic, we have Kawhi, and we have Kevin Durant as our starters. So now, who are our 3 bench guys going to be? And of course, we still have those 2 wild cards, but are we going to give it to, you know, forwards and centers, or are we going to give it to guards? Because we still haven't voted in someone like Curry, Booker. I forget the other guy. There was like another guy that kind of deserved it as well for the guards. But if we look at this, like we have AD, LeBron, Sabonis, Alperen's been going crazy. You also got Victor, Paul George kind of has a case for it. I don't know if you got Chet also. Cat has a case. You could maybe say Lori has a case too. I mean, the people down here don't really have a case, but there's so many, like, there's going to be some snubs. This is not going to be good. And we just have to get it out of the way. AD and LeBron aren't going to get snubbed. So I'll just put them in because they kind of deserve it too. So we'll go AD and LeBron, and then I'll go with Sabonis. So that's my 3 off the bench, but we still have Sengun. Does Victor get a spot? Lori, PG, like there's a lot of options here. We got our 5 off the bench though, but who are our 2 wild cards going to be? Okay, so I think I got it. I think I know who my 2 wild cards are going to be. And again, this is really tough. We already have Luka and Shea in. We gave Fox and Ant the bench spots. We have 2 wild cards. Is it going to be Devin Booker? Are we going to go Kyrie Irving? Are we going to go Steph Curry, James Harden? Even Fred kind of has a case. Maybe Jamal Murray, Desmond Bane I skipped over. Like there's a lot of options. Anthony's having a good year. I'm going to go with Steph Curry. Maybe I'm biased because I'm a Warriors fan, but Steph Curry deserves to be an all-star. I know the Warriors aren't playing great. They're like, what, two games under 500. They've been kind of bad. They're probably going to make some trades soon. Steph's still having a solid year. He's shooting good like usual. 27 points per game, 5 assists per game, 4 rebounds. He's not having, you know, a Stephen Curry year, but a Stephen Curry year is an all-star starting type year, you know? So I'm still going to give Steph an all-star spot. That is my first wild card. My next one's coming from the forwards and the centers. So D-Book got snubbed. Kyrie, there's a few others, Harden, but the guy I'm going with, and if you've been watching this channel, you know, Alperen Sengun is an all-star. I'm putting him in, and if he doesn't make the all-star team, I'll probably be genuinely kind of mad because the season he's having is flying under the radar for a lot of people, especially you know, casuals that don't really watch the sport night in and night out. They're kind of missing out on what he's really doing. Alperen putting up 22 points per game, 5 assists, 9 boards. He is, like, in my opinion, kind of a mini Jokic. He's kind of, Sabonis might be a mini Jokic, but Sengun's in that same category. I think Sengun has MVP potential. We've talked about it before. Obviously, this is for this season. This is the all-star game for this season, so we're not projecting for the future. But this season, I think Alperen Sengun is an all-star. Again, you could also give it to Victor or Chet. I would probably lean Victor. I know a lot of people go Chet over him. And then again, Paul George. Oh man, Paul George and Harden, both not on my all-star team, but they are, wow, they should be all-stars as well probably. And then you got Lori. Cat should probably be on. Oh my God, bro. Okay, so we now have all of our Western Conference all-stars. Starting at guard, we have Luka and SGA. Then at forward/center, we have Jokic, KD, and Kawhi. That's where I get a little bit different. We talked about that before. I know LeBron's probably going to start realistically because he just kills it in the fan vote, but Kawhi's having a great year. I gave him the starting nod. Now off the bench, we got AD and Fox as our guards. Then we go LeBron and AD because they're going to be in the all-star game. And then we have Sabonis, who's also having a great year. He even, I mean, all of these guys, except the guards, I think Luka and SGA are going to start, but off the bench, all 3 of these guys have a case to start. Like Kawhi is not really going to be a starter, I don't think, but you know, he kind of deserves it, but all of them do. All of them deserve it. And then off the bench, we're going Curry and we're going Sengun. Sorry if you don't like it. I know some people are going to hate this Sengun pick because look at the snubs. Bro, the West is stacked. You got Booker, not going to be in the All-Star game for me. Harden, not going to be in the All-Star game. Paul George, Cat. Again, we talked about the Celtics. Should they have 2 All-Stars? We didn't end up giving it to them, but they probably should. Derek White or Jaylen Brown kind of deserves it, but can you get him in? It's just kind of tough. Maybe if there's an injury. Halliburton's injured. If he misses the game, maybe you put in Derek White. But with as it stands, it's kind of tough. You got Cat, Lauri Markkanen, Kyrie Irving, Wemby, and Chet all going to miss the All-Star game. I am a firm believer in that the All-Star game should have more roster spots. Give them 2 more wild cards if you need to, because then, you know, you have Derek White that'll make it, and then you probably have like Paolo or something like that. All of these snubs are like all-star caliber players that deserve to make it. So it's just tough. Maybe even extend the rosters from 24 total to 30. Give them 3 more spots on each team. I don't know, because we've had 24 total all-stars since pretty much the beginning of the NBA. And that goes back so long when there was literally like, I think like 8 teams in the league. You know what I'm saying? Like there was not as many players, not even close. And there's just a lot of guys that deserve to be an all-star. But unfortunately, are not going to be all-stars this year. You guys know I like to have a debate. I like to have a conversation in the comment section. So comment, where did I go wrong, like badly? Like, what's my biggest mistake out of this entire list? Who's the biggest snub? And who would you replace them with? Who would you take out to put that snub in? Or who's a player that I didn't even mention that should be an all-star, which that would be kind of crazy if I didn't mention someone you think they should be an all-star. Maybe I missed someone. There's probably someone I missed, but voting ends January 20th. So maybe I'll make another all-star ballot video before that ends. But the all-star game's gonna be fun. The NBA has been fun this year. Sub up if you guys have. We're on the road to 2K, and click the video popping up on your screen right here if you haven't seen it yet.